Hi everyone, I want to welcome you all especially to this week's weekly review. Okay, so much has been happening in the markets, and I know some of you have some observations and some comments, especially for this week. Imagine taking 4 stop loss back to back. It wasn't planned, it wasn't expected. In fact, this week ought to be our most profitable week. I repeat what I said again. It ought to be our most profitable week, but it happens not to be. Now, why? Because you see, the market has changed. The market is not the way it was in 2024 anymore, and that's because of the new administration. Because we trade GBP USD as our major pair, and we trade Euro USD as well. Okay, though for the VIP community. Then we also trade AUD USD, and then we also trade gold, that's XAU USD, and all of these pairs have to be traded against the US dollars, and the US dollars has been going through a lot of manipulations on stable prices, and that has caused the directional bias of what we are trading, GU, EU, gold, AU, and the rest of them, not to be easily understood or clearly followed. In fact, one of the things I've even noticed is that few moves, several pips. Okay, and all of these things will make you incur a lot of losses, especially if your stop loss is not far from where it used to be before. So follow me through. Let's go into the chart. Let's look at a few things that occurred in the course of the week, so I can show you the do's and the don'ts, because we're going to be entering a new week next week, and we don't want to hit 4 stop losses. We want to be profitable, we want to make some money, and we don't want our experience this week to be like that of last week. Let's go to the charts. That's some of the few entries we took in the course of the week. So if you look at the first one, you will observe that it went on to induce, okay, before it went to take profit. You look at the second one, you see that it went straight to stop loss. This third one hit stop loss. I haven't made a little move. Okay, most of these entries were taken in the 5 minutes time frame, and that's one thing I don't want to repeat in the coming week. The 5 minutes time frame has never been my entry time frame. Okay, so but because of the new changes in the market, I thought I could try out something with it, and it didn't quite work out well with my strategy. So if you look, you will see that when price got into the entry point, it got activated and made a little move before it got rejected. Same thing repeated itself here, and then this one was even the worst. Okay, this one moved like close to half and then just went straight stop loss, and then this one, I think that was the last. So we I had to just take a break. I said, what's this, what's going on? So I went to do a little bit of research, and I observed that okay, it's the Trump market, and this happened 7 years ago. So we're going to be back testing what happened 7 years ago, during his last administration, just to see a few about the behavioral pattern of the candles, and then we're going to bring it forward to what's happening in the present day in the new Trump administration, so that we can now decide how we're going to be catching the move. So but one thing first in this review is the fact that, remember, in our strategy, when price gets into our liquidity zone, one of the key things that gets us to get into the entry is that we must first of all see a complete market structure shift, a break of structure, confirm a trend before we move. So we always move with the trend, because the trend is your friend. And for a while now, I've said no counter trading, and for much discipline, I've tried as much as possible to stop the counter trading. So if you look this, you will see that this entry actually didn't have that. Okay, it didn't have that. So if you go to the 5 minutes time frame, you see why I took that entry. Okay, and I don't want to repeat that again, since the 5 minute entry has not been what I've been using in this strategy, and I've not really back tested it. So if you look, you will see that the 5 minute time frame gives a break of structure here, a change of character, and that was what confirmed that entry, and went straight, induced, swiped up liquidity, because liquidity was not fully grabbed before it came to take profit, and that wasn't good. And the same thing repeated itself here. Okay, so I felt okay, this is a break of structure. I felt this was market structure shift. I confirmed this one as well, and I said okay, fine, that means we can actually, okay, this was where we went in from. So the confirmation was, this is a buy actually, so the confirmation was just somewhere around here. Okay, so I felt, okay, since it's taking out all of this, it might just come to a POI and just give us that buy, and it failed. Same thing repeated itself here, it failed, you know, and you could just see your normal rules and what you expect in the market not playing out as expected, because a lot of things has really changed in the market. So because of that, I'm reserving the strategy to, you know, stick to what we have back tested, even though we're going to be more back testing this week to confirm a few things, and then during the weekly analysis I'm going to give you updates and tell you what we should be expecting. So the same thing occurred here. So for this one, okay, the same 5 minutes time frame. So the least one, that's the last one which I wanted to take, was supposed to be here. Okay, price broke structure on the 50 minutes time frame, okay, and gave us a complete market structure. So the entry was supposed to be just here, but somehow I don't know, I missed it because I think I was not on the chart. If I was on the chart, this would have been a massive peep, and our stop loss would have just been 20 pips, and then I was a little bit concerned about being induced. Okay, so now look at what I'm talking about. Initially, before now, when you want to take 20 pips, it should be around here, but now it is coming out as 40 pips. So that means a lot of things has really changed, and the pips has really changed. So your 20 pips now is just around here, which is very close to your entry point and can easily get induced. So all of these things are what we're going to be back testing, so that we could say, okay, this is how we're going to do it. So if this was the entry, this would have been a massive profit, because if you look at from here to here, you see that it was a good move. So this is 123 pips, which is massive for, you know, GU, but we didn't catch that. Okay, so one of the things also we're going to do is we're going to introduce a pair which is not, you know, fully controlled by the US dollar, so that we can use it to compensate ourselves, okay, for the free community and the VIP community. Like this will be introduced, and other ones too that do not have USD. We're considering other pairs too that do not have USD, like this CHF JPY. We're going to consider I'm going to run away from that, so we're going to consider Euro JPY. Okay, we're going to consider GBP JPY and a few others. Okay, so we're going to leave USD most of the times, and if we're going to trade USD for any reason, this is our GBP USD, then we're going to be conscious of the fact that the market has really changed very well, drastically. So in still reviewing our entry for GBP USD, if you come back, you can now be able to calculate what we lost. Okay, so we lost 20 pips here, we lost 20 pips here, we lost 20 pips here, and another 20 pips here, and we have 80 pips, of which each pip is 1%. So let's say we are 2% down this week, 2% down. Okay, and I strongly believe we're going to recover next week, because we've been able to look at a few things, and the team and I have personally done my own researches and, you know, do my back testing, and a few things have been corrected, and I promise you that next week I'm coming full time. We're recovering all that was lost this week. So if you look at EU, you will notice something. Just watch. First one went well. Okay, same strategy that I said, 5 minutes time frame, but if you look, you see that there's a confirmation for 15 minutes somewhere here. Okay, so this one failed for EU. This is for the VIP community. This would should have went well, but should have gone well, but it got induced before it moved. Okay, 20 pips, very close. So it was just 3 pips for EU. And if you look at gold, you see gold repeated the same thing as well. All of these are VIP entries, so that's why you may not see it. If you look at gold, you see that the first one for gold, massive move, we caught that. The second one was what we couldn't catch, and that's because it got induced, you see. So you could just see that the market has really changed, and we have to really change our approach so that we can be able to move well with the market. So we have people USDT as we are rounding up. That's a crypto which I trade with a free community, and you can see that it's actually moving very well. So, but I didn't give much entry because my attentions were my attention was on GU because of what was happening. So what I'll do is I'm going to reanalyze people USDT, and I'm going to give you updates on that. If you look at Ethereum dropped drastically. I told a few of you that was going to happen, and it happened. Ethereum dropped as low as 1003, and that's massive drop. Okay, and then we round up with the synthetics. And that's jump 25, and then jump 25, and volatility 25. But before then, we have GBP JPY, which is the one we're going to be focusing on because of what's happening in the market. So let's see. Okay, we didn't get any entry, so but I'm thinking there'll be an entry for us because I'm seeing a shift in market structure here. So we're going to reanalyze this. So for the weekly analysis, I'm going to give you an update on GBP JPY, and let's go straight to the synthetics right now. Okay, let's load our saved analysis, and let me just show you a few. I'm not sure we got, okay, I think we have one entry. Let me just confirm which one particularly now. Okay, so this is boom 500. So for the VIP, so we have the volatility. So this is the volatility 25, so we didn't get any entry on it. And then we have the jump 25. Okay, so there was no entry on jump 25, or was this the entry? Went halfway and got induced. I'm not sure there was an entry on jump 25. Let me see if there's an entry on volatility 50. It sounds like that's the one we got. Let me just confirm that. Okay, so that means there was no entry apart from that jump entry. So we're going to reanalyze jump 25, volatility 25, and give you the update for the coming week. So this is all we can take for the free community GBP JPY GBP USD volatility 25, jump 25. Okay, so I hope with all you've seen in this video, you've been able to make corrections. You've been able to look at a few things, a few adjustments, so that in the new week as we come in, you're going to have a winning strategy, your winning idea, and with that you can be able to succeed in the coming week. This new week is our week, okay, and we ought to make money. So make sure you are looking up to the weekly analysis, and during the weekly analysis I'm going to point out a few things which we should consider, and with that I trust that we're going to win. See you during the weekly analysis.